Everyone, and welcome back to the Brightworks in another match of Beyond All Reason, where today we enter the gas-laden world of Sector 318C, a name who I actually remembered from memory, didn't even have to check it this time. I'm gonna double check it though, yeah, 318C. I struggled for so long to remember the name of this map, despite it being absolutely one of my favorite. It uses the Acid Marsh tile set. I'm not sure if that's the official name, but that's kind of what it is in my head. It's got these funky little tentacle plants and gas bag trees and a whole bunch of other cool background colors to work with here, and it's one of my favorite tile sets in the game. I hope we see more and more maps developed with this one. And I'm very excited today to bring you a high-level 8v8 that was played pretty recently, and today, as the red team leader, a Cortex commander that goes by the name of Von Comet, hailing at 37 open skill, and gonna be showing us some good old-fashioned Cortex frontline action. Didn't mean to make that rhyme, but we're gonna go with it here as the blue team leader, God Hates Cowards, also spawns as a Cortex commander, and decides to transition into a little bit of a bot lab. Some bot play, bot shenanigans on the southern side, some bots on bots in the bottom of the map. Gonna be going up against the triplicate of red commanders here over on the left-hand side of the field. It's gonna be Tommy the Cat, Scarecrow 100, and Raphael 972 going up against God Hates Cowards and Biso, the green commander here. Now, I've talked about maps like this before and why they're so fun, and essentially it comes down to the fact that they're intentionally skewed towards one team or the other, depending on the side of the map. As you can see here, if we do a little bit of quick math, we can see that there's 3 commanders here going up against just 2 commanders here for the blue team. It means that this southern side has a lot of work for the blue team in order to actually hold against all this. It does mean that this Scarecrow commander has a comfortable time going into T2, or it can be a tremendous influence on the front line if they just go ahead and send a bunch of units out. Mirrored, of course, to the northern side here, where They Gave Me Fire, Grafazel, and Devel, the cyan, green, and green commanders, go up against McDuddle and High Food, who, I will point out, High Food being the lowest at 22 open skill, still respectable, of course, but High Food, the lowest of the team, and then McDuddle here, a little bit more experienced, hailing with the silver chevrons and 26 open skill, going to be showing us what they've got here. Definitely going to be put in the hot seat, so I'm excited to see if these commanders manage to hold the line, or whether they will tremble before the might of 3 of those blue commanders. Units already across the field here as Rovers make their way towards the backline bases of the Lavender commander, Kazork, and the unfortunately named Powder Blue commander, Hemorrhoid. I guess the name isn't unfortunate, but it's a symptom that's unfortunate, or a condition that's unfortunate. Anyways, the orange Rovers here, blasting out a metal extractor. That's lovely stuff. Kazork does move on over in this direction. It looks like, ooh, the Rovers actually make it past. Okay. Thought the commander might be able to blast him down, but not is such the case. The orange Rascals managed to, or Rovers managed to make it into the backline here, and will continue their assault. I would love to see these spread out and targeting these metal extractors. Those are clearly the most viable targets right here. Soft ice, now perfectly scouted by the orange player. Nicely done. We're looking for mixes, we're looking for soft targets, we're looking for any opportunity that we can, and I love to see it. That's exactly what you want to do with these early scout units, but not only are they searching for targets, they of course also reveal big swaths of this map, which is phenomenal. The pink commander here, Pistol Pete, actually sending a scout plane across as well, so that's always nice to see. And at this point, we've revealed everyone on the map. So the green commander, the only one whose base wasn't scouted, but of course, by process of elimination, if you know where 7 of those 8 commanders are, then you know where the 8th commander is going to be. All said and done, though, eventually all this is cleaned up, and so it does mean the blue team is now ready to start pushing forward. A nice bit of aggression that wasn't really mirrored by the blue team. Definitely sets the pace early on, if anything, at least a moral pace. A morale pace, sorry, I always get those two confused. I know what I'm talking about. Trust me, professional Beyond Our Reason commentator. The morale of the blue team definitely in a defensive mindset. That's all that I mean by that, is that the blue team is now sending units that were used on defense up towards the front line, but of course it means that the army on the front line for the red team was either already across the map and now heading back, or it was already on the front line in order to be aggressive. Positioning can be very important and Beyond Our Reason, way more important than some people give it credit for. The position of your army and where you keep it and how you maintain it and what the shape of the army is, all that adds up to whether an engagement is successful or not. It's one of those little details that you have to master over a long time, and it's one of the reasons why watching the pros play is so satisfying, is because they really do have a perfect control over how those units engage, basically perfectly microing every single time whenever those units fight, well, anything. Oh, nice catch right here. Rascals managed to blast out a mechs. The thugs right here trying to shoot down those Rascals, but obviously the Rascals with quite a lot of mobility and movement speed here makes it very, very difficult for those plasma bots to fire away and kill them. And it looks like this rascal will still get another kill. Nicely done right here by the Cyan Commander, keeping it far enough away here that it doesn't take too much damage as well, before finally going down. Well, there we go. Somewhat equalizing this into the early game here is that 2 or 3 mexes worth of damage by the red team, now somewhat canceled out by the 2 mexes here of damage by the blue team. It all adds up in a game of Beyond All Reason. Hemorrhoid now holding the front line. We already have those early thugs out, though, so it's actually really nice that these came up so quickly. This is basically the default build of Cortex. If you're going to learn how to play Cortex, you got to learn how to play Grunt Thug. A strange-sounding composition, just, you know, on the surface level for those that are just listening. But if you grunt and thug hard enough, you'll be in a good spot. No, the thugs are extremely, extremely efficient. They have quite a lot of HP, they have decent firepower, and they have quite a lot of range as well. And so it means that against commanders, against those early T1 units, against a lot of different options, they can be really, really effective. Laboratory coming up on the front line. Bomber is up in the air. Ooh, fighter plane does manage to shoot it down. Nicely done. Fighter plane here, not shot down by the purple fighter, so instead will manage to shoot down that bomber before it does any serious damage. Wind turbines barely stay alive right here for the Hot Pink Commander, and it's extremely important that they do, because of course they power the entire laboratory. The whole laboratory that's coming up right here for our Pink Commander. Just moving it forward a little bit, but I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it. Now, God Hates Cowards holding the southern side quite nicely, and we've just gone into a gargantuan army of Rocketeers. Aggravators, pardon me, the Cortex Rocketeer. Firing away here at everything that they can. That was a powder blue commander explosion on the northern side of your screen right there. Resbot will get 10% of that commander's wreckage out, leaving behind a juicy 1,000 or so metal, though, for the red commander to happily eat up and enjoy. It's going to be a gigantic boost to production right here. You can see immediately going into some more build power, and going to be scaling up that, excuse me, scaling up that energy economy quite quickly here as well. And the yellow forces are defeated. In fact, the yellow and hot pink forces are both defeated. So Scarecrow went into more unit production instead of favoring the eco build here, while the maroon commander was forced to fight on the low ground right here. Not bad, but it definitely means that the 2v1 on this southern side was not supposed to go this way. This was supposed to be a easy win right here for the yellow and the hot pink commanders, but a little bit of almost a miscommunication between these two builds, and of course the fact that Tommy went ahead and built this laboratory forward, which meant there was quite a lapse in production, means that suddenly the army right here is quite a bit larger for the blue commander, at least for the time being. Pawn's getting on top of a bunch of this army, but we do eventually have an LLT set up here, so it's going to be quite nice for dealing with the lighter chaff. A whole bunch of these maces are coming out as well. Oh, build power accidentally latched onto the commander. Oof. A little bit of a bummer. That build power probably wants to be going into production at the moment, but isn't. Maces are quite nice, especially with a little bit of a repair micro. They can fire away at those aggravators quite nicely, blasting them down with a relative efficiency. But of course, there's just so much mass here for the blue commander. God Hates Cowards with 1,300 metal worth of units, whereas the pink commander with just a measly 600. Just about double the metal here in army value for the pink commander. No matter how efficient this trade is, it's just not going to be efficient enough. Combomb cries out the pink commander to the yellow, and I think that's a decent idea, except that the commander is pretty far out of position here. Yellow commander has gone into mostly eco and is going to start spamming ticks forward, interestingly. Not a bad idea. Actually, a big swarm of about 40 or so ticks can definitely take this out. Whoa! Maroon commander goes down. Nicely done. That's going to be a huge boon to Biso's economy as well, doing a little bit of heavy laser tower two-step in order to step forward with those strategic defenses going up against a bot player. It's a really, really menacing way to play with those static defenses essentially as offenses. Now, Biso is going to be moving forward to reclaim that commander wreckage, and another gigantic boon to the economy right here for the blue team. We'll take it. Bombers up in the air and away towards the other side of the map. Fighters are in the air protecting the bombers here as well as they head towards the red base. Beautiful deployments. Those bombs are away, and the wind turbines go up and smoke the metal extractors popping here too as those bombers continue their way into the backline. Are we going to? Yeah, we're going to try and knock out the air player. Nicely done. Obviously, knocking out the air player is tremendous. Of course, taking down the enemy air production means suddenly there's no air fighters to contest you, and that really is your biggest issue as a air player going up against another air player, is the air fighters that they can put up in the skies to shut down your bombers. Yeah, I think Purple wants to kill this base entirely, but there is a Ferret anti-air pop-up missile battery. One of, I feel like, the most underutilized towers in the game. The Ferret anti-air missile battery is a cloaked pop-up anti-air missile turret. It does... Wow, that was a really clean bombing run. Taking out tons of those wind turbines right there. It does decent damage, and it has decent range. It's sort of a middle grounder of a turret. It does fall short, though, in a lot of different areas. And one obvious one is just that it's cloaked for some reason. There really isn't much of a reason to keep it cloaked. I mean, I suppose at first it might be nice, but after the first time that it's revealed, I feel like switching it to visible is the right move right here. So I appreciate to see that, of course, because, yeah, suddenly it really doesn't make sense to spend the energy to keep that cloaked, when realistically there's not much benefit in keeping it there. It's already been spotted by these by the fighters that are flying over it, so there's not a lot of benefit to it. Geothermal up in smoke. High Food has pushed on forward, and that's the brown commander knocking down the green. 22 open skill against 22, and showing us that he's got what it takes to keep pushing forward. We've got the, ooh, what is that? Oh, a Tsar tank. Heavy Tsar tank rolling out of a T2 laboratory in the backline. So, opposite strategies here, right? The cyan commander has gone for that tech rush, whereas the yellow commander has gone for that production rush. And now has quite a lot of money in the bank, so I'd love to see this expanded a little bit more aggressively here. 4 or 5 constructors all building wind turbine farms, E-converters coming up in every direction here, right? Trying to scale this economy quite a bit more excessively, but for the time being, it's not really enough eco-scaling to justify the lack of damage that's been done on the front line. Typically, the idea being, this is quite nice with the ticks here, by the way. Scratching up that commander quite nicely. With the LLTs in combination, though, there will be enough to clean up those ticks. Typically, the idea here being that you apply enough force on the front line to crush this army, and then use the cost of this army to fund the T2. It's essentially still a T2 rush. You're just funding it a different way, rather than sacking your own comm and going for very efficient build orders. Instead, you go ahead and try and kill the enemy army. But we just really haven't seen that trade here at all. Resbot's up now to try and repair as much as possible. Oh, the commander's getting real low. Boom goes the blue commander. A massive turnaround on the southern side. Suddenly, all out of nowhere, the forces push forward. The maces manage to blast down the commander. The blue comm cries out, WTF, wasn't paying attention for a split second, and it was enough for those maces to blast it down. The tick's doing phenomenal work of triggering that flanking bonus, meaning that the maces did more damage. And suddenly, the entire army goes up. Oh, no. What a gigantic advantage lost right there for the blue team. T2 is on the field, though, and they're ready to try and reclaim this advantage. Or the Fiend's going to be able to do it. We have 3 of them on the field so far. Certainly powerful enough to beat those maces, but the Shuriken are in the air. Oh, nice use of the Shuriken. Shutting down these early T2 to make sure that they're not going to be a pain here for the T1 to deal with. That is just beautiful. Fighters in the air here to try and clean this up as well. There we go. Yeah, Tick's jumping on top of this stuff. Lovely, lovely plays. Wow. What a tremendous play right there on the southern side. Very, very nicely done. Blue commander. Not quite on T2 yet. Actually, a little bit surprising here. We do have a T2 lab up and running for the green commander, so we have those T2 mechs coming up and running. Hopefully we'll see T2 handed over relatively soon. Meanwhile, the Tsar rolling out. The Tsar heavy tank is a menace on the front line. Any commander that's gone up against one of these Tsar tanks while you're stuck on T1 knows just how dangerous that is. Ooh, a little bit of a comm bomb right here. That's what that was. The orange commander stepping forward here into the static defense of the army here of Kazork, the German 13 open skill Silvertail Chevron hero right here, and suffering total obliteration for it. Blowing up a significant chunk of the economy. Might have been a self-destruct here, actually. Blowing up a significant chunk of the economy here of the Lavender Commander. Doing a phenomenal job of taking down some of those units and making this fight with the army quite a little bit easier. Oh, the D-gun. Oh, Kazork misses the D-gun opportunity right there. Doesn't let loose that 500 energy insta-kill weapon. And instead is going to be forced to retreat right here. Yeah, there's 4 Janus tanks mixed into that composition. That's more than enough to kill a commander at 25%. I believe 4 Janus tanks gets you close to 80% of the HP of a commander. I think 5 of them kills a commander, so very, very heavy damage. Tsar is here to save the day, though. Lovely stuff. Yeah, that Tsar is going to swing this battle completely around. Another big bombing run, by the way. The purple commander in the backline with bombers starts tearing apart the base here of the tank commander, who was the technological center of the northern high. Well, I guess it's not entirely true. The brown commander on T2 as well here. But obviously, losing this base in the backline with the T2 mexes, with all that energy production, it hurts quite a lot. This Tsar has completely saved the day. Completely saved the day. This looked like a really dangerous push, and with all that metal that had went down right there in that explosion from the orange commander, this was looking pretty difficult to break. But now with the Tsar here firing away at the static defense, this is going to be relatively easy to crush. Alright, we're still in trouble on the southern side, but these are T1 units pushing forward, and the era of T1 is over. I would love to see these reclaimed at this point. Start pulling your units that are expended off the line. I recently learned that you can actually remove a specific unit from an auto group by holding shift and then hitting tilde on your keyboard, the top left button on your keyboard. It actually removes a unit from an auto group, so if you play like me where you have specific types of units in specific auto groups, you can remove, say for instance, an injured rocket bot here by clicking back on your base and then going ahead and hitting shift and then tilde, and it'll remove it from that auto group. Very, very useful in the situation where you're trying to micro units back that would be worth reclaiming for their metal value, but not necessarily worth losing on the front line or trading out on the front line against T2. Can you scout, please? Cries out the Powder Blue Commander. Spy bots are a hell of a thing. Radar jammer and radar bots are pretty good too. Definitely would allow for the push right here, but these flamethrower turrets are dangerous. You have to be very careful about those. Those flamethrower turrets can do a lot more damage than a lot of commanders tend to suspect. Well, Fiend marching forward here. We do have a counter Fiend to blast it apart. Nicely done. Tan Commander in position with the right units at the right time. And it means that this Ball of Sheldon should be fairly successful here. Yep, nice control. A little bit of a Fiend battle, but with the Sheldon support behind, that Fiend in green will eventually get whittled down here. Yeah, Sheldons in a big ball are going to be a problem. Oh, what a D-gun. Beautiful work right there from the yellow commander's Scarecrow. That was phenomenal. Lined up the D-gun directly against the line of the blue units right there in order to make sure it got maximum value. Wow. Really, really effective D-guns right there from the yellow commander. Boom goes the yellow comm, though. Those Sheldon are just too good at their job. Firing away at the distance in order to pop that commander that was revealed by the T1. All that sacrifice, and was it worth it to lose the comm? I would say probably. It did stall this blue army out ever so slightly, and those precious, precious seconds can mean the difference right here in this engagement. T2 up and running right now for the yellow commanders, but it's about time to see some units. We need sprinters, we need welders, we need sharpshooters, we need hounds, we need everything and some more, and we've just about got nothing on the southern side right here. Yeah, this is a dire-looking situation. Suddenly, despite a phenomenal play right here early on into this match, oh, Tommy has spent it all on a gauntlet. Ugh. Gauntlet with 1,220 range versus the Sheldon's 850 means, on a certain sort of technicality, it does beat Sheldon. But my goodness, for 1,250 metal, it is a hefty price to pay for what could otherwise be a sharpshooter or a couple of hounds or something like that on the fronts here. Yeah, we're going to reclaim it. We're going to make the best of a bad situation here and try to reclaim the gauntlet. Oh, but the build power gets eaten up. Oh, no. I don't think that gauntlet went back to the economy here of the pink commander. We have a spy bot here. A last-ditch effort, a spy bot headed over on this side of the map, but oh, there's no energy. The yellow commander without energy means that it can't keep this spy bot cloaked. Oh, yep, they know about it. The spy bot's revealed, and that was the last hope right there. Suddenly, the Sheldon have free reign to continue their march. With a radar jammer bot in the mix here as well, it's going to be basically impossible for T1 to clean this up here. Sprinters finally on the field and going to start blasting away at a bunch of this, but those Sheldon are pretty well balled at this point. They have a little contingent of grunts as well surrounding them constantly to make sure that things aren't running right on past. And that's exactly what we want to see. That spam of grunts being the shield, the armor plating on top of the Sheldon, making this really, really doable. Yeah, little too hefty on the retreat here. This is still T1 we're dealing with. Little bit of sprinter action, not anything to be super, super afraid of. And this Tsar tank with 76 kills to its name. It's the king of tanks for a reason, as it fires away those gigantic globules of snotule over towards the brown static defenses here. And obviously dismantling everything it comes into contact with easily. Fire away, my king. Funk. Beautiful. Down go the Sheldon right there as well. I love the Tsar so much. It is Cortex to a T. It's a big tank with a big gun, with a big health, with a big damage. It's everything that you love and know about Cortex, and everything that I think everybody appreciates about Cortex. They hit hard, they fire far, they have big HP. Phenomenal. Fiends blasting apart the assault units here, the combat units, the skirmish units? Light plasma bots. I believe these are considered skirmishing units. They're relatively nothing in the face of a whole bunch of these Fiends, though. Fiends burn with such a intense firepower that it's really difficult for basically any T1 to keep up with it. Commander here uncloaked and, well, in the danger zone. These T1 units are pretty eager to blast it down. There goes the hot pink commander. The Sheldon ball was too powerful. We were too slow in the T2 transition. Yeah, this was a completely winnable situation right here for the yellow team, and unfortunately, for the yellow and pink and maroon commanders on the southern side here, but unfortunately it just wasn't played out correctly. The Spybot missed its mark due to an E-stall. The T1 units were not eaten up in favor of T2. It meant that all of them were fed back into the war machine here and turned into Sheldons that are, as you can probably tell, very effective at their job. Now pulling apart the base right here of the hot pink commander. Maintaining a waterfall of death. Oh, the second Spybot goes down. Oh, that's so disheartening here. Yeah, we have more and more Spybots coming up, but that's exactly what this grunt spam is meant for. It's meant to keep these Spybots off the back of these Sheldon. Oh. I want it. I want it so badly, but it just won't happen. The Spybots being mismarked right here. We have tons of Spybots, by the way. I love to see it. Like, this is the correct response. There we go. There's a nice detonation of Spybots right there. Catches a couple of those Sheldon. Are we gonna get another one? Nope. That's, what, six Spybots that we've seen going down right here? An unacceptable loss for the yellow commander. Certainly a rough situation. Welders trying to clean all this up. The grunts in the backline starting to flash down whatever they can. Energy converters, wind turbines, e-storages, you name it. The grunts are going to be more than happy to pull it apart. And of course the Sheldon ball to follow it up to dismantle any of these defenses here. Rattlesnake does fall just a little too late on the Rattlesnakes on all the static defenses this game so far on the southern side. What a turnaround. Yeah, the blue commander just going into that T2 economy and continuing the grunt spam right here. Would love to see these heavy laser towers eaten up at this point. Green forces breaking into the base of the orange commander here as well, pummeling through the midsection of the map, and eventually making their way into the soft underbelly of the red team. With a exploiter here, an advanced armed, what is it called? An advanced exploiter, armed advanced metal extractor. That'll be all she wrote. Ladies and gentlemen, the red team throws in the towel as the green and blue forces march on the southern side, and the Tsar heavy tank cracks open the shell of defense on the north, meaning, of course, that the blue team takes the victory with some beautiful plays in this game of Beyond All Reason. Thanks a ton for watching, and I sure hope you enjoyed. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you'd like to join the Brightworks community. And, of course, if you're looking to get more involved, you're welcome to join the Discord, which is always linked down below. Hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will see you in the very next cast of Beyond All Reason. Stay classy, Beyond All Reason fans. Totally ripping off Anchorman here.